Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janvalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Janvalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tire Vanachari Yamuna Tire Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladevai, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padma Mamsa Pariyachara Strotar. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nasta Prayashva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender, verse 14. 14. Sarvendriya guna drishtre Sarva pratyaya hetave Asatta chaya yoktaya Sadabhasaya te namaha. Sarvendriya gunadrishtre Sarva pratyaya hetave Asatta chaya yuktaya Sadabhasaya te namaha. Sarvendriya gunadrishtre Sarva pratyaya hetave Asatta chaya yuktaya Sadabhasaya te namaha. Sarvendriya gunadrishtre pratyaya hetave Tachaya yuktaya Sadabhasaya te Sarvendriya gunadrishtre Sarva pratyaya hetave Asatachaya yuktaya Sadabhasaya te namaha. Mataji. Sarvendriya gunadrishtre Sarva pratyaya hetave Asatachaya yuktaya Sadabhasaya te namaha. Word for word meaning. Sarva indriya guna drishtre. Onto the seer of all objectives pursued by the senses. Sarva pratyaya hetave. Who is the solution to all doubts, and without whose help one cannot solve all the doubts and inabilities. Asata, with the manifestation of unreality or illusion. Chhayaya, because of resemblance. Uktaya, called. Sat, of reality. Abhasya, onto the reflection. Te, onto you. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Translation. My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problems of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives the glimpse of your existence. Very nice verse today. Amazing verse. And just this 4 lines, Srila Prabhupada has translated it and given so much of meaning to this prayer of Gajendra. So, please repeat with me. My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problems of doubts. The material world is just like the shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives the glimpse of your existence. Purport. To paraphrase this verse, the objectives of the sensual activities are actually observed by you. Without your direction, the living entity cannot take even a step forward. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasva chaham radhisani vishto mata smritir gnanam apohanam cha. You are situated in everyone's heart, and only from you comes remembrance and forgetfulness. Chhayaya yashya bhuvanani birbharati durga. The living entity under the clutches of Maya wants to enjoy this material world, but unless you give him directions and remind him, he cannot make progress in pursuing his shadowy objectives in life. The conditioned soul wrongly progresses towards the wrong objective, life after life, and he is reminded of that objective by you. In one life, the conditioned soul desires to progress towards a certain objective, but after his body changes, he forgets everything. Nonetheless, my Lord, because he wanted to enjoy something of this world, you remind him of this in his next birth. Mata smritir gnanam apohanam cha. Because the conditioned soul wants to forget you, by your grace you give him opportunities life after life by which he can almost perpetually forget you. Therefore, you are eternally the director of the conditioned souls. It is because you are the original cause of everything that everything appears real. The ultimate reality is your Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. The word Sarva Pratyaya Hetave is explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who says that the result gives one a glimpse of its cause. Very nicely explained. The result gives one a glimpse of its cause. For example, since an earthen pot is a result of the action of the potter, by seeing the earthen pot, one can guess at the existence of the potter. Similarly, this material world resembles the spiritual world, and any intelligent person can guess how it is acting. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshena Prakrita Suheta Cha Chara Charam. The activities of the material world suggest that behind them is a superintendence of the Lord. So, very beautifully explained by Srila Prabhupada. The result gives one a glimpse of its cause. He quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Om Agnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so in this verse I found 3 points which stand out in the Gajendra's prayers. We already know the pastime how Gajendra was caught by a crocodile, and then he was in the crisis, which was the last chapter. And now, after going through all the options he could possibly do, he remembered his last birth. We know there are many pastimes in Bhagavatam which explains this. So, this remembrance from last birth, what is it called? There's a Sanskrit word. Smriti? Yeah, remembrance. Yeah, you can say smriti. Yeah, remembrance. What else? How does a person remember from his past life, or even in this life? What is it called? Anyone? Samskaras. So whatever samskaras, and that is why there are a lot of samskaras, even before the child is born, the samskaras begin. So why is it necessary to do all those samskaras? Right from childhood to death, there are something 14 or 15 or something samskaras. 12 or 14, whatever samskaras. But most of the samskaras are performed right from before the child is born to the child goes to school. So that is most of the samskaras are performed in the early childhood of a person. And then finally there is marriage and then death. So right from the beginning there are many samskaras prescribed in the Shastras. Why do we have those samskaras? Because they leave an imprint on a person. Just by having Garbhadan samskara, we invoke a personality who is of a pious nature. So those samskaras, and we see here, it is because of the samskaras of Gajendra from his previous life. Otherwise, we don't see any elephants chanting the mantras. What to speak of elephant? Any of the animals chanting. These days, even the humans don't chant. The mantras the prayers that Gajendra is offering to the Lord, they are not ordinary prayers. Most of us don't even knew those prayers before we got mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So here we see Gajendra is offering these prayers because of his previous samskara as a king, Indradumna, and which reminded him in this last moment of crisis where he has given up all the hopes. Imagine 1,000 years fighting with a crocodile. So he would have done everything possible in his capacity to overcome this crisis. But finally, because of his samskara from his previous life, he was able to pluck a flower and offer these prayers to the Lord. And immediately the Lord appeared. We see in Bhagavatam again and again, who else offered prayers to the Lord and immediately Lord appeared in the last moment of his crisis. Bhishma Dev, okay, yeah, we can say Bhishma Dev offered prayers, and Krishna himself went with the Pandavas. And Krishna could have convinced the Yudhishthira Maharaj, but he wanted Bhishma Dev. So one of the reasons was, yes, Krishna appeared in front of Bhishma Dev. Who else? Narad Muni. How Narad Muni? Right, yeah, he was praying in his meditation, the Lord appeared for a moment and then disappeared, okay. Parikshit Maharaj, how did Lord appeared for Parikshit Maharaj? Parikshit Maharaj was in the womb, yeah, but it was not Parikshit Maharaj who offered prayers. Who offered prayers? Uttara. Uttara offered prayers, and Lord immediately protected Parikshit Maharaj within the womb. Who else? Parikshit Maharaj is a good example though. How did Lord protect Parikshit Maharaj at the time of his death? Yeah, that was when he was not born, but in his last moment when he was cursed to die. How was Parikshit Maharaj protected? Yes, Krishna. No, he was protected. Yeah, tell, you are right. Acha. Yeah, Krishna. Right, Krishna appeared as Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and protected Parikshit Maharaj. So, this was the pastime. Otherwise, and this is a very good point, Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj right in the womb from the Brahmastra. Takshak was not even comparable, anywhere comparative to Brahmastra. Krishna could have easily killed, or even Parikshit Maharaj was so powerful that he could kill Kali. He had a sword in his hand and Kali fell at the feet of Parikshit Maharaj. So if a person who can stop Kali, time personified, Kali personified, yeah, if he can stop that, Takshak was no match for Parikshit Maharaj. But still, this is the pastime where we see Krishna protects Parikshit Maharaj, and this whole pastime is enacted so that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam can be spoken from the lips of Sukadeva Goswami. So, yeah, this is, but I was thinking one more example. Who was protected at the time of death? Yes. Ajamil, yeah. He offered prayers to whom? Yeah, but indirectly offered it to Narayan. So, Abhinatvam Nama Namino. The name of the holy names of the Lord is non-different than the Lord himself. Even though in his consciousness he was not thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, he was thinking about his son Narayan. But the holy name, this shows the power of the holy name. Even unconsciously chanted, it invokes the presence of the Lord. The Lord takes it personally. Even if you chant the holy names of the Lord, indirectly or in any other way, the Lord takes it personally, because the name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So when Ajamil chanted Narayan, immediately the Vishnudutas appeared and protected Ajamil. So Krishna protects. So why did we come to this point, by the way? So yeah, we are offering, we are speaking about Gajendra how? Because of his samskaras, he was able to chant the prayers. And here we see Gajendra, he had not gone through Gurukul in his childhood. He had not gone through any Shastric studies, no Bhakti Shastri, no Bhaktivedanta, no Bhaktivedanta, but still he is able to offer all these prayers, beautiful prayers, just because of his samskaras from his previous life. So that is why it is very important for children to go through these samskaras, especially in their early childhood, so that they can come to the point where their consciousness is backed by Shastra Chakshu. So here we see in this verse, he's offering prayers, and in this I could see 3 points. The first is, my Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. So here Gajendra is saying, you are the observer, you are witnesser, you are seeing of all the objectives of the senses. Not your mind or soul, or you're not just observing one of the senses, but all the senses. You are the observer. Second point, without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problems of doubts. So we need the mercy of the Lord to solve the problems of our life. And the third point Gajendra mentions is, the material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives a glimpse of your existence. So everyone is attracted to this material world because it resembles the spiritual world, it resembles the Lord, it resembles the chit potency of the Lord, as it is explained in the verse. So it is live, and that is why it is attractive. If it was dull matter, nobody is attracted to the body of a person once the soul leaves the body. We immediately make arrangements so that the body is taken. However dear that relative or a family member or a friend may be to you, but as soon as the soul leaves the body becomes, you don't even would like to sleep with that person in the same room. you want to take the body out as soon as possible. So as soon that is the presence of life and dull matter. Once the life is gone, there is no attraction for that body. So the first, we will take these 3 points and from Srila Prabhupada's purport we will understand what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, and Srila Prabhupada has given a very nice purport to this verse. So, my Lord, you are the observer of all objectives of the senses. Krishna is the observer. He mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Upadrashtanu Mantascha, Bharta Prokta Maheshwara. He is Upadrashtanu Manta. He is the witnesser and permissioner. So, without his permission, we cannot, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, it is not possible to take even a step forward without the permission of the Lord. So, for each and every step, we need the permission of the Lord. Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. Bhokta is a very interesting word. The Lord is Bhokta. Where else we hear the word Bhokta? Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the maintainer of everything. And we are Bhukta, Bhugatraya. In Hindi we say we are Bhugatraya, right? We are Bhukta. Bhukta means suffering. We are always dependent on the Bhokta. He is the maintainer and we are the sustenance. So we are Bhukta. And Srila Prabhupada mentions these 2 words, Bhokta and Bhukta, in the purport of Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. So we are completely dependent on the Lord. Even though we may think we are the doer, this is the mercy of the Lord. This is how Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyatacha Characharam. The Maya works within this material world in such a way that each and every living entity thinks he is the enjoyer, he is the controller, he is the Ishvara. But actually it is controlled by the energies of the Lord. So Lord works as the super soul. In the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there were 6 things asked by Arjuna. He asked about Purusha, Prakriti, Kshetra, Kshetragna, Gnanam and Gneham. So he's asking about Kshetragna. Who is the Kshetragna? What does the word Kshetragna mean? Kshetra means, as explained in 13th chapter, field of activity or body. Each one of us has been awarded a field of activity. What gives us this kshetra or field of activity? How do we get this field of activity? What enables us to, what enables the Lord or material energy to award us this field of activity? Karma, okay. What is karma? Material activities, okay. Activities gives karma and then you get field. Desires. And Srila Prabhupada makes a point here. Each one of us have desires which the Lord fulfills. Even we may forget what our desires were, but the Lord remembers. Everything that we are going through, He is a witnesser of all the objectives of the senses. Each of our senses. And we go through different stages of life. We go through childhood. In our childhood, the desires are, especially even before childhood, when we are born, what is the main desire of an infant? Annamaya Kosha. Is only interested in, give me food. You see a small child, the whole day he is sleeping. When he is hungry, he starts crying. Or when he wants to get cleaned up, he starts crying. These are the only 2 things of a newborn baby. That was his desire at that point of his birth. Bhaktivedanta Thakur interestingly mentions, goes one step further. He says, even before I was born, or before a living entity is born, he prays to the Lord within the womb that when I'll take birth, I will serve you. I will serve you for the entire life. But as soon as I take birth, what happens? I immediately forget that promise that I have made to you. I'm Swajana. All the relatives, they surround me. I become the center of attraction for them. And because of that, I forget. I think this world is lagilo bhalo. This world is not bad. I'm enjoying here. Everybody is looking after me. But the infant, but newborn child, his only consciousness is, desire is food. I want food. I like it, I don't like it. It's all based on food. As he grows further, he comes into the childhood. What is the desire of a child? Krishna, what is your desire? What do you want the most? Toys, wow. Yeah, you are normal. So the desire of a child is to play with toys. So this is changed from now you don't want to eat so much, or you still like to eat whole day? Yeah, once the tummy is full, his desire is more to play. Yeah, so this is, the desire changes. First it was only food. You give any toy to the child, a newborn baby is not satisfied. He's only satisfied with mother's milk. That's all is going to satisfy. A child grows, he wants to play. You can force him to study, but it's difficult. His consciousness is more towards playing. Then once he goes into youth or teens, before that, his desire, those toys which were keeping him busy, small cars, bikes, horse, animals. Now if you give to a teenage boy, do you like it? No, what happened to those toys? They're in the box somewhere. You don't play with them anymore. The desire changes. The desire changes. Now the teenage boys wants to go out, associate with their friends. They feel more comfortable with their friends than with their toys. From teen, when they come into youth, what is the desire of a 20-year-old or 21-year-old? Fortunately, kids who are born here, they don't have that desire. Yeah. So what is the desire of a 20-year-old? Yeah, that is there right from childhood to death. That's a general principle of material world. Everyone wants to enjoy opposite sex. But then there is something specific in the 20-year-old. Education, nobody wants to study. These days, nobody is interested in study because, as we said, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, if there is no presence of the Lord, if it is not live, people will not be attracted to it. And we see material science that we study today is material. There is no presence of Lord. It's not attractive, and that is why we see most of the students, if you ask them, what are you going to do your graduation, post-graduation? They don't want to study. All they're interested in some career which they can make money quickly. And that too quickly, they want everything quickly. They don't want to work hard, study, and then go into a career. I was reading one of the articles, 10 jobs where you don't need to go into a university. There's mining, then there is a tram driver, train driver, high, six-digit paid job where you don't have to go to university. Just your BCE is enough. So these all jobs, it's interesting. Even a pilot, the person who flies the plane, he does not need to have a university degree. Just VC pass is sufficient, and then there is a course and flying hours. But these are all the jobs where you don't have to go to study, and they are advertising this because they know that there is a market for it. There's a huge market for it where students don't want to go to university. So for a 20-year-old, the main desire is to make quick money, travel around, enjoy the senses. At 20, the senses are the most strong. They want to enjoy their senses. They want to travel, they want to make money so that they can, of course, nobody wants money and keep it in the bank. They want to make money so that they can spend and enjoy their senses. And so for the 20-year-old, the main desire is sing, enjoy, party out. So these are the senses. At 25, then he starts thinking about, of course, this is more old 25-year-old. These days, 25-year-old are still in their 20s. They don't want to take any responsibility. But before 25, 30, they want to make a family. They want to settle. They want to make a house. They want to have a family of their own. Then at 40s, they start to think about retiring these days. Already. And if they have enough money, they can have, and you see a lot of these advertisements are there these days, where you can not be dependent on a 9-to-5 job. How you can become rich quickly and go on a cruise, and they will advertise all these days. You have a Ferrari car and a cruise, and you go to this Hawaii island and enjoy your life. So this is what the desire. But the point I'm trying to make is the desire keeps on changing even within this life. And our body is changing within this life. So in this life itself, we have changed our body so many times, and we had all these desires. What happened? Sometimes you might have not got any toys, or sometimes you might have not got things that you wanted at that particular time. Those desires are kept in memory. The Lord remembers those desires. Because any desires that we have which are not fulfilled, and we crave for it, the Lord remembers them. What happens to those desires? We'll be awarded a next body. As soon as we desire something, oh, I want to be like this, I want a car, I want a house, I want this job, I want this $1 million. These are all captured. Even we may forget it, but the Lord does not forget. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the verse. The Lord remembers them, and they are fulfilled in our next lives. So he is the observer of all the objectives of the senses. And we see this material world is created because we wanted it. We wanted to live separately. Even to live separately, even to forget the Lord, we need the mercy of the Lord. We cannot forget the Lord. Sarvasachaham radesani vistam matasmritir gnanam apohanam cha. Remembrance and forgetfulness comes from the Lord. Even to forget the Lord, we need the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord facilitates our desires to forget Him, to live separately from Him by creating this material energy. And that way, we can fulfill our desires. But Lord is so kind that He accompanies us, He comes with us in each and every body that we desire. Even the lower species or higher species or whatever species we go, the Lord accompanies us as super soul, Paramatma, and guides us. Somehow we can come back. In every stages of our lives, in every life, we get this opportunity how we can come back to the Lord, how we can go back home, back to Godhead. So the second point that was mentioned was, this material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives the glimpse of your existence. Chhayaya yasya bhavanani bribharti durga ichhanurupa api yasya chachestasa govindam adi purusham tamham bhajami. So in Brahma Samhita it is mentioned this external potency Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga. Because there is presence of the Lord, because it is the manifestation of the Chit potency, it is the reflection of the spiritual world. Everyone is attracted to this material world. Otherwise there would be no substance. There is no what was the word I forgot? Yeah, so there is no substance there. One can be attracted to this material world otherwise. And so it is the potency of the Lord, the living entity, want to enjoy Maya because of the resemblance of the Lord in this world. And Srila Prabhupada makes the point, if in one life the conditioned soul desires to progress towards a certain objective, but after his body changes he forgets everything. Nonetheless, my Lord, because he wanted to enjoy something of this world, you remind him of this in his next birth. Mata smritir gnanam apohanam cha. Because the conditioned soul wants to forget you, by your grace you give the opportunity life after life by which he can perpetually forget you. Therefore, you are eternally the director of the conditioned soul. Prakriti kriya manani guna karmani sarvasa ahankara vimudatma karta ham iti manyate. A living entity thinks he is the doer, but everything is ordained by the Prakriti, three modes of the material nature. What we are trying to do is trying to eat a mango by looking at the reflection of the mango within the water. The mango tastes really juicy, nice. We want to eat them, but if you see the reflection of that mango within the water and try to grab it and eat it, how much are we going to enjoy? We can only enjoy the desire of seeing a mango. Oh, I found a mango, I am hungry, I found a mango. That desire is satisfied. But you cannot enjoy it because we are trying to search the mango in the reflection. All we have to do is look up and grab the mango from the tree, and then we can enjoy. So that change of consciousness is required. If one is just looking at a deer, example is given, a deer looks into the mirage and runs after that mirage thinking that will quench his thirst and keeps running after the mirage, he never reaches the water, and ultimately what happens? He dies in the desert. So similarly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is making the point that result gives one a glimpse of its cause. When you look at the pot, an intelligent person at once thinks there has to be a potter. The pot cannot appear out of itself. When we see an apple falling from a tree, what do we see or what do we think? Nice apple, let's eat it. Yeah? But what did Newton think? There has to be something different. Why did apple just fall on the ground? So he discovered gravitational force. So that is a difference between a normal person and an intelligent person. He sees the cause behind the result. Whereas, and that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains here, result gives one a glimpse of its cause. An intelligent person always thinks about the cause. What caused this to happen? So when we see this material world, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suhita Chacharacharam, Srila Prabhupada is making this point. When we see this material world so attractive, but still there is no enjoyment, even though it is attractive, there has to be something which is superior. There has to be someone who is managing this. So it's not by it's only a stupid concept where one says all this came just by Big Bang. How can a sun, which is maintaining everything, we know last 10 years we have seen the power of solar energy. Everything is becoming solar. But there were rishis, there was, even in the last 20 years I've heard, there was a person who just survived for a whole year on the solar energy. He was eating nothing but he was sitting in the sun every day. So he survived the entire year without eating. Entire life? 50 years or something, yeah. So this is the power which the sages knew. They could survive just based on the energy of the Lord that is provided. And now, these days, we eat all the fruit and vegetables. And what do we get? Cancer. Because they are all so much of contaminated. Even by eating, it is mentioned it's better we don't eat. I remember going to one of the Ayurvedic doctors a few years ago. And he told me I shouldn't eat anything. Unless I grow it myself, I cannot eat any fruits or vegetables. And I asked him, then what was the reason? He said, that is causing your disease is because of eating those things. Even though I am a vegetarian, I am only eating fruits and vegetables. But still, he said, your disease is because of eating fruits and vegetables. So this is the condition we are in these days. So intelligent person understands that this material world, which is so attractive, which is there has to be cause behind it. There has to be the superintendence of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada used this word, superintendence of the Lord is there. Somebody is monitoring this, somebody is looking after it, somebody is maintaining it, he is bhokta, somebody is maintaining it, otherwise this cannot exist. In the fashion that it's running for thousands, we can, the perfection of how this entire thing is, you can predict the sunrise and sunset for the entire year or years. Every day you get, right, for the whole month you have got, when is the sun going to rise and what time it is going to set. Have you ever seen sun delayed by 5 minutes? Yeah, we may turn up 5 minutes late here and there, but the sunrise and sunset is dot on time. How can it be so perfect? Suryadev might think, today my horses are a bit tired, let me go slow or something. No. It's right on dot. They can predict the sunrise and sunset to the perfection of minutes, seconds, yeah? And it is never delayed. How can something run so perfectly? Even the things that are run by humans are not so perfect. So, the material world is the shadow of the Lord, and that is why we have to understand, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there is a maintainer. And the last point that Gajendra mentions is, without the mercy, without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problems of doubt. It is not possible we can solve our problems without the mercy of the Lord. So we have to surrender onto the Lord. And this is what Gajendra is doing. He is surrendering onto the Lord. But again, when we surrender onto Krishna, what does Krishna say? Ye athamam prapadante tams tathaiva bhajam yaham. Krishna says, as you surrender, I will reward you proportionately. If you surrender 10%, I'll reward you 10%. But of course, 10% of Krishna is so much. Sometimes Krishna comes in trouble because of this statement. Any examples? Sudama. Sudama surrendered. How many percent? How many percent did Sudama surrender? 60? Okay, good guess. Where did that number come from, 60? Sorry? Oh, guessing. Guess. Okay. Yeah, Sudama offered something which he did not even have. He offered him more than what he had. And Krishna, because he is tied by the statement, Ye thamam prapadante tams tathaiva bhajanam, there is nothing more than Krishna has. Nothing exists more than what Krishna possesses. Everything is Krishna's, but there is nothing more than that. So Krishna, just by eating 2 handfuls of chipped rice, he gave him everything that he had. And if he would have had third, he would have to become, along with all the queens, he had to become the servant of Sudama. And that is why Rukmani Devi stopped Krishna. Please don't do that. We cannot see you serving a Brahmana like that, becoming his servant. And so Rukmani Devi stopped him. So because of this statement, sometimes Krishna comes and there is another example. It's interesting how the devotees overpower the Lord. So in the arena of Kamsa, when Krishna and Balram come for the wrestling, Krishna easily defeats Chanur. He grabs Chanur, there is a big fight going on. He grabs Chanur, rolls him around and puts him onto the ground, throws him onto the ground, and immediately Chanur dies. And same Mustika, Balram kills him with just one fist. He kills him. And then Sala, Tosala, Kutha, all those wrestlers who were like one of the most powerful wrestlers. Nobody could defeat them except for Kamsa. And that is how Kamsa had that agreement that they will serve Kamsa. So they were so powerful. Nobody in the world could defeat them. And Krishna and Balram just killed them like with one blow, and that's it, gone. So imagine the power of Krishna and Balram. And at that point, everyone is dancing. All the coward boys are dancing. And then the coward boys come into the arena, wrestling arena. And then in front of Kamsa, he sees these coward boys, they pick up Krishna and put them onto the ground and jump over the Krishna and Balram. And they're defeating. And so Kamsa is thinking, this is bewildering. Krishna and Balram, they just defeated all my powerful wrestlers, and these coward boys are defeating Krishna and Balram. So they must be more powerful than Krishna and Balram, right? So it's bewildering for Kamsa. So we can see from this pastime that the devotees overpower the Lord. And it's not that Krishna and Balram are purposefully becoming defeated, but it's the rasa. So when Krishna and Balram are dealing with the devotees, then they are in their normal rasa. They're not in their Aishwarya rasa. So the Sakhya rasa or Madhurya or Vatsalya rasa overpowers the Lord's Aishwarya rasa. Anyways, coming back here, so we need the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord says, but Krishna says, Sarva dharman pariteja mahamekam saranamaja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshami masucha. So Krishna is saying we have to surrender first. But then we go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once in the day of Brahma, Krishna appears in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So in the day of Brahma, Krishna appears as in the mood of Srimati Radharani as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Namo Mahavadanyaya. He's Mahavadanyaya. He's the most magnificent avatara. He sends his associates, Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, and tells, give everyone this holy name. Ask them to chant, and gives them freely. He does not even see the qualification of a person. He just gives it to them. And then Nityanand Prabhu, who is Lord Balram himself. The same Lord Balram who, there used to be a picture here where Lord Balram, just because Yamuna Devi does not give water, he drags Yamuna Devi, he threatens to drag Yamuna Devi. The same Balram who killed Romaharsa just because he did not stand up from his asana. So he killed him just with a blade of grass. Same Balram, Lord Balram, comes in Nityanand Prabhu's avatar, and what does he do? He goes from village to village and he begs to each and every person, householder. He sings, Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Laha Gaurangera Naam Re, Jai Jana Gauranga Bhajya, Sehoya Mara Prana Re. So Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they're going from household to household, and they are begging in front of the householders, please sing the name of Lord Gauranga, please sing this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And they're rolling on the ground, they're falling on the ground. And they're trying to give this Mahamantra, they're trying to give Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur are trying to give Hare Krishna Mahamantra to everyone. So this is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu. And they predictate the appearance of Srila Prabhupada. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Mangal by Lochana Das Thakur that Yadi papi chhadi dharma dure deshe jaye, mora senapati bhakta yaibe tathay. So they predicted that my senapati bhakta will come, even if all this sinful person, they go to foreign land, my senapati bhakta will come and bring them back. And prithvi ache yathe nadriya gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora naam. In every town and village, my name will be sung. So this was already prediction that Srila Prabhupada's prophecy was made by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Srila Prabhupada will soon appear. Even Bhaktivedanta Thakur mentioned this. Very soon an unparalleled path of Harinam Sankirtan will be propagated all over the world. Oh, for that day when the fortunate English, French, Russian, German and American people will take up banners, mridangas and kartals and raise kirtan through their streets and towns. When will that day come? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing in Sajjan Toshani in 1885, 80 years before Srila Prabhupada went to US. In 1885, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this. When will that day be there? When all the people of the world will go onto the streets performing Harinam with Kartal and Mridanga. So these all personalities already predicted Srila Prabhupada's appearance and his mercy flowing into this Western world. So we understand, so 3 points we understand from this, that Lord is the observer for all the activities. Without the mercy of the Lord, there is no possibility of us doing anything. And this material world is just a shadow of and resembles the Lord. And that is why it is so attractive. So I'll stop here. Any questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Before you said that the Lord remembers all our desires, and then they will be fulfilled in future births. But what happens to these desires when we come to Krishna consciousness?
That's right. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, all those desires are fulfilled, but in a spiritual way. Because now our desires are changed. We are no more the same. In our previous life, or in this life only, in our previous life, we had all those material desires. But once we come to Krishna consciousness, our desires are now purified, our consciousness is purified. So depending on our consciousness, our desires, and this is nicely explained in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So Gopakumar always had this desire to experience something superior. There has to be something superior, and he was always thinking of associating with the Lord. And so in every life, after life, he goes through different higher planets, but then ultimately comes to Bhaume Vrindavan. And then by chanting this mantra, he gets the association of the Lord, and then finally goes back home to Golok Vrindavan. So even though our previous desires are there, but they are fulfilled in a spiritual way. So they are not anymore material.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. You emphasized about the samskara rituals for a child, and how it is very important for us to perform. Can you explain how this applies for, I guess all the Western devotees, especially during Prabhupada's time, who didn't have these samskara rituals, and many of them became pure devotees, and for, I guess, the Western devotees like myself, where we're not born with these samskara rituals, like how do we, I guess, catch
Even
up?
the Indian, most of us, we never had any of, I don't think we have gone through all the samskaras.
So
this was the question asked to Srila Prabhupada. One of the devotees asked, Srila Prabhupada, what is our qualification? Why are we able to chant? And Srila Prabhupada's answer was, I made your qualification. I given you qualification. So that is what we have to understand. We have to take shelter of Nityanand Prabhu and his representatives. He represents Guru Tattva. And we have to take shelter of our spiritual master. Our spiritual master gives us this qualification. Samskaras are given by our spiritual master. When we surrender onto our spiritual master, we get those samskaras imprinted. It's just by the mercy of our spiritual master that we are able to get access to this scripture. What is our qualification? I don't think I came to Australia to learn any of the verses here. It was the mercy of spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada that we are able to quote these sastras. We have access to the sastras. So they have created our samskaras.
So is it necessary to perform samskaras then for a child?
Definitely, yes. If you can avoid, so there are two things. One is you perform a samskara and get a soul who is already pious. Or you do the other way, you don't perform any samskara and you do the hard way, you have a child, try to make him a devotee. Mm. So I've seen from my experience, those kids who are already born in Krishna, whose parents were Krishna conscious and born in Krishna, life becomes much more easier to raise this childs. And those kids who were not born or their parents were not Krishna consciousness before, and to raise them into Krishna consciousness, bring them into Krishna consciousness, it's a challenge. It's not impossible, but it's a challenge. So better to not take challenges unnecessarily. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll stop here. Granthra Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you.
Krishna.